This is a direct response to the videos that I've been watching for a year now about the Illuminati in the music industry. I will say this, I'm going to say this up front. These videos that I've been watching, for the most part, have a lot of really good information in it. But every time I watch one of them, what I walk away with is this same thing, and the only way I can put it is of them throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because they do point out, that there's obviously some sort of, it's not even just some sort of, there's a very, very strong secret society element pushing an agenda. But here's the problem that I have, especially with the way that they go after hip hop music, is the fact that people in these videos are not ever informed. There's a lot of fear of the music industry, fear of the Illuminati, but they're never informed of the fact that music in of itself is actually a tool of enlightenment. And really, the reason why the dark forces supposedly are using it is because a lot of times what can be used to be helpful can be used to be hurtful. So you can take electricity and you can fry a man, or you can take electricity and you could power the cell phone camera that I'm talking on, or my computer, or airplanes, and we could, you can just go on and on about how electricity has basically helped modern society. Well, it's the same thing. What people don't realize is that music, especially like music that has chanting and drums in it. And I want you to remember I said that, chanting and drums with it. Rhythmic chanting and drums. Music in general, hypnosis, dreams, deep dreams, and deep fantasy-filled daydreams have in common is they all induce a very similar dream state. They all show very similar, very strong similarities with REM sleep. And there's nothing wrong with hypnosis. I said that. There's nothing wrong with being put into a trance state. There's nothing wrong with music that induces those states of mind. And they've only been demonized because people are using it in a hurtful way. But like I said before, I can take a sledgehammer and I can go out and murder people with a sledgehammer, hit them in the head. Or I can take a sledgehammer, I can build a railroad so those same people can travel across country to see their loved ones. And throughout history, I'm gonna put it like this: throughout history, we owe advancements in modern society to people who go into this dream trance state, whether they know it or not. And you can go down the list. Some of the greatest scientists who ever lived were deeply into that state, or at some point in time went into that state. Albert Einstein started from the top, and everybody knows who Einstein is, famous physicist. He claimed that he saw the theory of relativity while in a dream he was going the speed of light. Nikolai Tesla, who is considered a pioneer. Literally, the man is a giant in the science community as far as breakthroughs. He basically stated that it got so bad to the point where he couldn't tell whether he was dreaming or whether he was wide awake. Another person who probably a lot of people haven't heard of is Nobel Peace Prize winning physiologist, a scientist by the name of Otto Louis, who I believe around in 1936 stated that he had a dream in the field that he was studying. He woke up from the dream, crawled out of bed, wrote the dream down, woke up the next morning, and he realized that he couldn't read his writing. So he was disturbed because the dream had the breakthrough that he was studying in chemistry in the dream. And then he had the dream again the next night. And that time, finally, he retrieved the dream, was able to utilize it, and essentially went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And we could just keep going all day long. People like Salvador Dali, people like Leonardo da Vinci, who said that he dreamed the flying machines that he designed, and he was way ahead of his time. Numerous musicians, claim the same thing. They report dreaming or seeing inspirations in dreams. And this is because, and especially when I was a little boy, Adventist, I was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the irony is the Seventh-day Adventist Church, historically, the conservative part of the church is against anything that has to do with drums. Lord forbid. Drum-like music. But they taught some pretty strange stuff. When I was young, I was taught that the people before the flood, who they called antediluvians, could use 100% of their brain, which is almost identical to what they teach about the people who lived in Atlantis. Because, obviously the Adventists have ties to a community like that. But that's for another video. And they say it's a myth that because we already use 100% of our brain, which we do. We use 100% of the hardware of the brain if you're a healthy person. What they don't tell you, and scientists know this for a fact, especially in a lot of dream research, is that there's a large part of our mental capabilities that has to do with our subconscious brain, which processes information tens of thousands of times faster than our conscious mind does. Our conscious mind is actually a summarizer. So as I look around this room, I'm driving my car and I'm taking care of stuff at my job, my brain summarizes the information that I take in, what's important and what's not important. The subconscious absorbs a higher rate of information. And this is what, I guess if I could put it, this is what happens when you go into a trance state, especially when you're exposed to high rhythmic music with a lot of chanting in it. And this is why the ancient Indians believed in mantras. You would chant and chant and chant and chant and chant until it would magically happen. Well, what's happening really is, and this goes for almost all magic, is your subconscious finally takes it in. And this is why you're bombarded with the same stuff over and over again. And the problem is people are not told that people who are the cutting edge of whatever they do, they repetitively do it over and over. That's what practice is for. That's what studying is for. That's what working is for. Finally, the subconscious takes it in, and the subconscious has absorbed a lot more information about it. So then their conscious mind, and this is what happens when you lucid dream, when you dream at night, and you go to sleep, all the parts of your brain are firing off just like you're awake. They're not more active, except for the prefrontal cortex. Now, when you lucid dream, you're able to go back into your dream consciously. The prefrontal cortex awakens. Now, what happens to us is when we're bombarded with this stuff that they call the evil music industry and the evil television, it's not to hypnotize you. It's not to, because I mean they're right. They do put you in a they use a hypnotizing format, but it's not to, I guess the best way to put it is it's not to put you into the trance state, because they don't want you going into the trance state. They don't want you going deep into your subconscious mind. What they're trying to do is use the same format to hypnotize you, to distract you, to do the opposite of the trance state. Because they know that humanity is getting to the point where we're taking in, or where our conscious mind is developing to a level where when we keep going into these dream states, especially in the information age, that people will be able to basically have when they go into these dream states, have clear conscious awareness, which is the lucid dream state. And just to show you, like I said before, I used to study a lot of Kabbalah, esoteric astrology. I was friends with a gentleman who he was from Cuba, but he studied the Kabbalah for years and Western magic, and he got me into a lot of stuff. And one day I told him that, and I know a lot of people who follow Aleister Crowley and magic are going to probably disagree with this, but I told him that really a lot of these magic rituals were to reprogram the mind. They were exercises of the mind to reprogram the mind to go deep into the subconscious mind. And once it goes deep and you can change your behavior, you can make stuff happen that doesn't normally happen. And that's what practicing is for. That's why athletes practice. They just do it off reaction. And a lot of athletes report this. Jack Nicholson stated that he dreamed of a different golf swing. and when he used it, he was much more successful. Michael Jordan states that he goes into the zone. And that's what, as I stated, the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is described by astrologers as a dreamer. He represents an air sign. The air signs represent the intellect or the mind, and he's holding water. Because people think he's a water sign. He's just holding water. He's an air sign. It represents the intellect holding water. Now, among high occultists, water in the wilderness, I want you to remember this, water in the wilderness represent the subconscious mind. He's actually holding the subconscious mind, controlling it and pouring it out wherever he wants to. And this is the sign of the genius. That's why if you open up any astrology book, they'll talk about how Aquariuses are the signs of the nerds, the geeks, the geniuses. And that's why, the people, if there are a ruling elite, they don't want the masses of people to be able to access 100% of your brain. Because in an evolutionary process, what happens is one part of the species makes this breakthrough, and it becomes, after a couple centuries, commonplace for everybody else to do the same thing. So somebody will learn how to use words or language, and then everybody else will catch on eventually on how to use words. Well, these geniuses in the fields of art, music, athletics, science have learned to access their dream state, and we're all going to catch on to it, and it's going to be hard to control people. Because when you can access a database that large, you probably won't even need a computer. And this is why people are being kept in the dark. And this is why you're being made to fear the music industry. Because music, from the beginning of time, was used by tribal shamans, along with hallucinogenic drugs and dancing, especially dancing, to get people into a state where they could go into the spirit world, which is the subconscious mind. And they don't want people to do that. And this is not just West African music, because rap music, and this is why they demonize rap music. Rap music is a heavy trance-based music. It's not just West African music. It's Celtic, the Celtic tribes, who people just think Celtic people only come out of Ireland and Scotland, but they were actually European people you could find all over the world, especially in desert areas and mountainous areas. These people, who were known as Druids, they did the same thing, but rap music, just to show my point, you can take rap music, study the history of rap music, and what you'll come up with is it was brought into America by a Jamaican man who went by the stage name of DJ Kool Herc. This Jamaican man basically was influenced by dancehall. Dancehall was brought into Jamaica by the Akan and the Ashanti people. These people basically brought it over from West Africa, where in West Africa, just to let people know, in West Africa they call it toasting, and to this day they do it. The griots passed it down to people who now they call toasters over in West Africa, and they do rhythmic rhyming over drum beats and patterns. And this is why they demonize it, because they say, oh, the Masons invented this and they did that. No, they're scared of the fact that we have the ability, indigenous people have the ability to enter the spirit world. And that spirit world, if you look at it scientifically, is entering a larger mental database. But like I said, I'm going to post up more videos on dreaming and stuff like that. But don't be afraid, man. Don't let these people steal your power through their fear and their fear mongering. Because that's what they do when you watch these Illuminati videos. They're stealing away your confidence. You have a nice day.